a shooting star. The engines roar, the tires scream, fast as lightning, it's a dream. Speed and drama, every turn on NFR, the rubber burns. Feel the thrill of every bend, where the champions transcend. Feel the power at NFR, burning tracks, driving far, where the races never end. NFR, only friend. Like Fernando calls the play on NFR every race day. Commentary sharp and loud, hyping up the roaring crowd. Feel the power at NFR, burning tracks, driving far, where the races never end. NFR, only friend. Not Fernando calls the play on NFR at race day. Commentary sharp and loud, hyping up the roaring crowd. Feel the power at NFR, burning tracks, driving far, where the races never end. NFR, only friend. Deaf Queen, the top supporter, see in the crowd where speed is keen. NFR, the place to be. Join the race, watch and see.
In the quiet lanes of Silverstone town, folks are whispering about a boy falling down. Got a seat from his daddy, money's the king. Driving that Williams ain't like riding free. Tires spin, engines roar, but the podium's far. His wheels hit the gravel, now there's damage to the car. Got the world at his feet, yet he fumbles the lead. His dreams race away, but he's not in the speed. Daddy's money, daddy's ride, crashing dreams, nowhere to hide. Bought him a name that can't buy a skill. Lance keeps trying, but the track's all uphill. Now he's got his own team with a famous name. Aston Martin's the brand, but it's still the same shame. Every corner, every turn, the crashes unfold. Dreams wrapped in carbon fiber, truth left untold. Paddock folks shake their heads with a sigh as the green car spins and the hopes run dry. No matter the funds, it's a harsh game of pain. $1 million toys can't shelter the rain. Daddy's money, daddy's ride, crashing dreams, nowhere to hide. Bought him a name but can't buy a skill. Lance keeps trying, but the track's all uphill. Daddy's money, daddy's ride, crashing dreams, nowhere to hide. Bought him a name but can't buy a skill. Lance keeps trying, but the track's all uphill. Lance keeps trying, but the track's all uphill.
Engines scream, the lights go out. First corner, chaos drivers
can't hide. NFR, the pulse, the sound. Nothing handle cause it round by round. Highs and lows, the thrill, the sting, the viewers return. Let the madness begin. Wheel to wheel, a fight for life. A champion crowned, a seasoned knife. Broadcast the roar, the passion, the pain. An NF artist in the storm and the rain. NFR, the pulse, the sound. Nothing handle cause it round by round. Highs and lows, the thrill, the sting, the viewers return. Let the madness begin.
Unhook the light, the engines roar. SKR, it's time to soar. Trains ignite, but pressure's high. We race the edge, we touch. Tires burn, the world's a blur. Victory calls, but it's unsure. Sundays at 6, where the league begins. Oh yeah, highs and lows, where we chase all wins. Through the curves, through the fight, SKR, we own the night. The night. Rain comes down, the track turns wild. Split second moves, adrenaline's child. Podium dreams, they come and go. Fast and fierce, it's all we know. Yellow flow flags, heartbreaks near, but we push on, we have no fear. Sundays at 6, where the league begins. Oh yeah, highs and lows, where we chase all wins. Through the curves, through the fight, SKR, we own the night. We own the night. The night. We own the night. Ooh, right. The night. Rain comes down, the track turns wild. Split second moves, adrenaline's child. Podium dreams, they come and go. Fast and fierce, it's all we know. Yellow flow flags, heartbreaks near, but we push on, we have no fear. Sundays at 6, where the league begins. Oh yeah, highs and lows, where we chase all wins. Through the curves, through the fight, SKR, we own the night. 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 The
Max the Maverick.
He rolls to the grid, eye sharp as a blade. A storm in the cockpit, never afraid. Teammates tremble, they can't keep pace. Max takes the wheel, owns every race. From car to crown, he carved his way. A predator born to slay the day. The records fall, the doubters fade. A legend's forged, the price is paid.
Max Verstappen, king of the fight. Burning the track in the dead of night. Outruns the pack, leaves them behind. Fastest heart with a mastermind. Not the quickest car, but he still shines. Bends the rules, rewrites the lines. Max Verstappen, hear the roar. The champ who always begs for more.
Our bond, they tried their best, but Max just laughs. Aces
passes the test. He dances through corners, a devil's art. Tears up the field, rips it apart. Red Bull's wings, they used to soar. Now it's Max who evens the score. The car's not prime, the rivals grin, but he still finds a way to win. Max Verstappen, king of the fight, burning the track in the dead of night. Outruns the pack, leaves them behind. Fastest heart with a mastermind. Not the quickest car, but he still shines. Bends the rules, rewrites the lines. Max Verstappen, hear the roar. The champ who always begs for more. Monaco streets, Silverstone rain. He turns the chaos into his gain. A lion's soul, a warrior's creed. Speed's his drug, it's all he needs. They build the walls, he breaks them down. Three-time king still wears the crown. Max Verstappen, king of the fight, burning the track in the dead of night. Outruns the pack, leaves them behind. Fastest heart with the mastermind. Not the quickest car, but he still shines. Bends the rules, rewrites the lines. Max Verstappen, hear the roar. The champ who always begs for more. So raise the flag, let the anthem play. Max the Maverick rules the day. Through grit and guile, he's here to stay. A racing god in every way.
Sundays at 6, the engines ignite. SKR League under stadium lights. Rubber burns, the tarmac's a canvas. Twists and turns where the brave find madness. Throttle pinned, the needle don't lie. Chasing the horizon, kissing the sky. Podium dreams, champagne in the mist. But crash in the gravel, that's the devil's twist. Checkered flag or shattered hope. Grip the wheel and learn to cope. SKR, where legends collide. Fast lanes, heartbreaks, no place to hide. From pole to pit, we're chasing the stars. It's glory or guts in the SKR. Drafting shadows, the apex calls. One mistake and the whole dream stalls. Pit stop prayers, tires slick with wear. Crew hand steady, precision in the air. Highs like Monaco, lows like Monterey. Speed's a religion, the track's our domain. Six-gear symphony, engines that scream. But glory's a gamble, it's never serene. Checkered flag or shattered hope. Grip the wheel and learn to cope. SKR, where legends collide. Fast lanes, heartbreaks, no place to hide. From pole to pit, we're chasing the stars. It's glory or guts in the SKR. Trapped in shadows, the apex calls. One mistake and the whole dream stalls. Pit stop prayers, tires slick with wear. Crew hand steady, precision in the air. Highs like Monaco, lows like Monterey. Speed's a religion, the track's our domain. Six-gear symphony, engines that scream. But glory's a gamble, it's never serene. SKR, where legends collide. Fast lanes, heartbreaks, no place to hide. From pole to pit, we're chasing the stars. It's glory or guts in the SKR. Haunting shadows, the apex calls. One mistake and the whole dream stalls. Pit stop prayers, tires slick with wear. Crew hand steady, precision in the air. Highs like Monaco, lows like Monterey. Speed's a religion, the track's our domain. Six-gear symphony, engines that scream. But glory's a gamble, it's never serene. Checkered flag or shattered hope, grip the wheel and learn to cope.
Six p.m. on a Sunday clock. Engines scream like hearts that talk. Rubber burns on asphalt veins. Speed and hope and tire stains. High so high they touch the sky. Low so low they scrape goodbye.
SKR Sundays, where dreams collide and break away. SKR Sundays, the wheel spins fast, the hearts betray.
Checkered flags and broken wings. A league of kings, but no crown clings. Sweat and steel and fractured pride. Every lapse a war we ride.
SKR Sundays, where dreams collide and break away. Yeah. SKR Sundays, the wheel spins fast, the hearts betray. Checkered flags and broken wings, a league of kings, but no crown clings. Sweat and steel and fractured pride. Every lapse a war we ride. SKR Sundays, where speed to God we kneel and pray. Yeah. SKR Sundays, glory whispers face to gray. Oppositional fleeing throne, a crash can make it all unknown. F1 highs like stars they blaze, lows like shadows in the haze.
Daniil came roaring, a Russian with her lit up the track in the dark. Promised Red Bull's big seat, he flew in 2015. But Sochi's crash sent him down, Max stole the dream. Back to Toro he went with a "we'll call you lie." Twice they cut him loose, left him high and dry. Helmut's cold handshake, Christian sideways grin. Daniil kept fighting, but the deck was stacked to win. Red Bull's wings, they lift you up, then crash you to the ground. Promise seats and glory, but then lies keep spinning around. From Daniel to Pierre, Alex and more, they fell. Red Bull's driver graveyard, where dreams go to dwell. Pierre was the next kid with a smile bright as day. Toro Rosso star Bahrain's foreshowed the way. Red Bull called him up, said, "Son, you're the one." But Max's shadow crushed him. 12 races, he was done. Sent back to Toro, told he'd get another shot, but the phone stayed silent. Left Pierre in a nod. Jamie and Sebastian, they felt that same old sting. Promised Toro saddle, but Red Bull clipped their wings. Red Bull's wings, they lift you up, then crash you to the ground. Promise seats and glory, but then lies keep spinning around. From Daniel to Pierre, Alex and more, they fell. Red Bull's driver graveyard, where dreams go to dwell. Brendan waited 9 years for a shot to shine, but Toro chewed him up, spit him out by design. Liam got 2 races, thought he'd earn his place. Red Bull said, "Back to Bulls, you're losing this race." Carlos got a loan, I never saw Red Bull again. Now he's winning elsewhere, leaving Helmut in pain. They dangle that seat like a carrot on a string, but when you reach for glory, you're left with nothing but sting. Red Bull's wings, they lift you up, then crash you to the ground. Promise seats and glory, but then lies keep spinning around. From Daniel to Pierre, Alex and more, they fell. Red Bull's driver graveyard, where dreams go to dwell. So here's to the drivers who fought through the pain. Daniel, Pierre, and Alex rising up again. Red Bull's got its titles, but these boys paid the cost. In the dust of melting keys, their dreams ain't fully lost.
Turn on the screen, it's NFR. Feel the rush like a shooting star. The engines roar, the tires scream. Fast as lightning, it's a dream. Speed and drama, every turn on NFR. The rubber burns. Feel the thrill of every bend, where the champions transcend. Feel the power at NFR. Burning tracks, driving far. Where the races never end. NFR, only friend. Like Fernando calls the play on NFR. Every race day, commentary sharp and loud, hyping up the roaring crowd.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome back. It's been a while, not that long, but we're back. We're back for season 13 of SKR. You all know the drill by now, 6 p.m. on Sundays, start of a new season. A blank slate for everyone in the field. But what a place to start a season. We're starting in Baku, round 1. And the castle section comes to mind. As you can see, we're already getting some drivers out on circuit very, very early. No one messing about. Everyone wanting to get some time out on the circuit. Don't know how many of you watched qualifying yesterday for the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. It was probably one of the craziest qualifyings you'd ever see. F1 record for the most red flags in a qualifying session. 6 red flags. And the qualifying session took 2 hours to complete. That's 30 minutes longer than it took to complete the Italian Grand Prix. There is the castle section. We just mentioned it, and we watched Skulk driving through it, going very slowly this time round. Of course, this is just an outlap, just a prep lap. Getting ready for the real thing, getting everything charged up, making sure the battery's full, warming up the tires, preparing the brakes. Also important on this circuit. Lots of heavy braking points. So much high speed. That's why you tend to see accidents around here. So many straights, you really can't afford to have any extra downforce on the car, so the guys strip these cars as much as possible. But it does make the cars pretty nervous. This is Skull, you can see now warming up for that quick lap. There goes the Williams to start its first timed lap. I think everybody is out on circuit. Keycracker remains in the pits, as does Spikes, Harsh Cartoon, and Sensor Fault. This is one of the two Red Bulls. Big T. Anyone know him? So in the field today, we've got the two Red Bulls, Sensor Fault and Big T. Then we've got just the one Alpine of Top Gun. Got two McLarens, Virus and Spikes. The two Selbers, Pantry Star and Skull. Two Williams, Captain Slow and Skulk. The two Aston Martins, Harsh Cartoon and Levy. I'm getting dizzy. Keycracker. Just the one Mercedes. In fact, there was two Alpines. Chums is the other Alpine. It's the one Ferrari, Sugar Bear, and the two RBs. Winter Schloer and Andre. Still waiting for our first lap times, and as I say that, Skull goes over the line with a 1:39.9. Scraping into the 39. Sugar Bear, the second car over the line. That's a 41.7. He's got some way to go. Then went to Schloer, the first of the RBs, 1:40.2. Gonna get a lap time now from Big T. And goodness me, I asked you, do you know who that is? I think you do. 38.9. Second clear of anything we've seen so far. Sensor Fault, the second Red Bull. I have a lot to live up to if that's his teammate. Virus. One of those two McLarens. Waiting for lap times from Pantry Star, Levy. Keycracker still in the pits. Spikes still in the pits. Of course, we know the deal. These drivers are going to be approaching this qualifying session differently. Some of the drivers, they go out on a extended first run where they'll do 3 or 4 laps on the same set of tires. And then they'll go out and have one big flyer at the end. Others, they're going to come in lap, quick lap, out lap, as many stints as possible. Of course, at the circuit, it does take quite some time to do an out lap, to do an in lap. It is a 6-kilometer circuit. Second longest circuit on the calendar, besides Belgium. Great shot there of the Williams. So much commitment needed on this circuit. That's why I think these lap times will still come down, because in the beginning you're going to be a bit tentative. Going to keep your distance from the barriers, at least on that first lap or two. And as the session goes on, you use more and more of the circuit to get closer and closer to the barrier. It's just like Monaco. Confidence goes up, the lap times come down as the session goes on. So far, no change at the front, in the front row at least. Big T still 38.9. Next best is Skull with a 39.9. That's right, 1 second covering the front row. We're looking at the second Red Bull. No lap time from Sensor Fault just yet. I think this is his first attempt. Join him as he's about to go over the line, and it's good enough for P8 to 140.9. That's 2 seconds slower than his teammate. The two Alpines hoping to have a better day than Alpine had in Baku. Even qualifying was a disaster for Alpine in Baku. The Alpine can get Baku a little better this time. If you look up the stats, when was the first Azerbaijan Grand Prix? It's going to tell you in 2017. It's actually a little complicated because, ooh, look at that. Castle section first. That's our first victim. Luckily, he is still on the go. He just has a broken front wing. But he's going to be able to get the car back to the pits. But Top Gun, no lap time. He's going to have to return to the pits with no lap time. And this is a long circuit and the time comes down pretty quickly. Levy still no lap time. Keycracker still no lap time. He's actually in the pits. Spikes P16. If anyone knows in the comment section, let me know. Does Keycracker have some sort? Of course not. It's round 1. But has he carried over any sort of penalty or something? He has not emerged from the pits, I don't think. Just 8 minutes remain. But it takes a lot of time to get around here. Don't want to leave things too late. Don't want to have a situation like we had in Monza a couple of years ago where, well, I think it was about 2/3 of the field didn't set their final lap because nobody got over the line in time. Good evening to everyone who is watching. Quite a few of you joining for round 1. Let me know in the comment section who you're supporting and what you expect that final fastest lap to be. What do you predict for pole? Has Big T done enough already? 38.9. Pantry Star 39.8. He's actually gone up into P2. Gone just ahead of his teammate. 1/10 of a second ahead of his teammate. As things stand, it's Red Bull Salba. Of course, in 2026, next year, will be the first time since 1992 that we have not had the Salba name on the grid. Of course, that team made its debut in 1993. And will cease to exist in 2026 when it becomes Audi. I think that was a Mercedes in the background. Luckily for us, no red flags, especially in qualifying. Imagine we had a 2-hour qualifying session. 38.9 still the best, but Big T's going over the line and it's not still the best. It's a 38.6. The lap time wasn't ridiculous enough. It's gone and moved the goalpost. Pantry Star 39.8. Winter slower. He's actually gone up into P3 with a 39.8 of his own. So very close lap times there between 2, 3, 4 and even 5. It's really just Big T out there all by himself. And he's finding a lot of time somewhere. Spikes 39.4. It's a little closer to the 38s. Still half a second away from them. Skull remains in the pits. We ride with one of the RBs. I think he's on a slow down lap. That's Andre, currently P6, 140.0. Levy also going slowly. For someone on a quick lap. I think Skulk might be on a quick lap. We do have a caution in sectors 2 and 3. One of those circuits, or many of those circuits, but this one in particular, very important to stay out of the way, especially in the tricky bits. You see there Salva just getting out of the way, staying wide. Doesn't look like that would have affected Skulk's lap time too much, but there's always that slight distraction, that slight hesitation. Is the driver going to move in time? That is a very nice lap time. Skulk 139.8 takes him up into P3. And if that Salva did impede him in any way, well, that means there's more to come. 4 minutes remaining in the session, so if you're going to set that lap time, long race circuit, get out there. You're riding with the McLaren of Virus, currently in P9, 140.4. Some really close lap times in the midfield, and then out front. Big T was all on his own. Some of the drivers getting closer, they've got within a second, but then from Spikes down to, let's say all the way down to Skull, those are very close lap times. All the way down to Levy. If you look at that, from P3 down to P8, 0.2 of a second. Will be one more appearance from Big T. Just over 3.5 minutes remaining in the session. He'd have to get out there pretty quickly. Start the season off with 16 drivers in the field. Of course, we have seen cases of maybe a driver squeezing in before the race, so might get up to 17. This is Keycracker, the man currently in that P16 at the rear of the field, a 42.4. This is going to be a challenging race. Of course, I don't know about the weather, but nobody's mentioned it in the comment section, so I presume we're going to have reasonable weather. Usually if any of the drivers see rain, they make quite a noise about it. Not a lot of action out on track, is there? Pantry Star on an outlap, Winter Slower on an outlap, Skull on an outlap. So I have Lebby on an outlap. I think Sugar Bear is the only driver out on a timed lap, looking for an improvement on a 140.9. Those tires already do have one lap on them. This will be either a slow down lap or a second attempt. Death Queen, just confirmation from the comment section. It will be a dry race, so that's one less thing the drivers need to worry about. Of course, rain can make Baku even a little more crazy. Thought we might not see Big T out on circuit again, but look at that, he is out on circuit. He's on an outlap. He's going to give us one more go, one more show. Does he have something more than that? A 38.6? Surely not. He does have more. How much more? Winter Slower also on a timed lap, as is Pantry Star, as is Skull. We're going to have a busy race circuit. There is 6 kilometers of it, so hopefully everybody's allowed themselves space for that quick lap. Don't want to run over anybody in that final attempt. This is Big T. Quickest man out on circuit. Favorite for pole in the closing moments. Or does somebody have something that they've been hiding? We ride with that Red Bull currently on provisional pole. He goes through sector 1. Is that a tap of the barrier? I think that was a tap of the barrier. That's okay. We saw lots of taps of the barrier this weekend. Look at that. If it was a tap of the barrier, it didn't mean too much. He's 2/10 down. Well, he's 2/10 under his previous best in sector 1, so he's absolutely flying now into the castle section. Shows you how it's done. Look how close he gets to the barriers. Commitment all the way. Use as much of that exit as you can. Not too much of it, and he got it just right. Red Bull to the end of sector 2. Let's have a look at that lap. He was 2/10 down in sector 1. Is he able to match that? Yes, he is, and by much more. By so much more. He's down half a second. He's got another half a second. We might see a 37. Might be pushing my luck. A 37 might just be on the cards. Let's ride with Big T as he goes over the line. Not quite. A 38.2. Thought we might see a 37. That's awfully close to one. This is Andre just finishing off his lap. One of the last drivers to go over the line. I think he is the last driver to go over the line, and I didn't see if he improved. Was in P8. Stays in P8. Now we get a quick look at the results. Just 30 seconds. Got to read through it quick. Big T, what a lap. 38.2. Then Skull, 39.3. Just over a second off. Then Spikes P3, went to Schloer P4, Levy P5. Then we've got Skulk, Pantry Star, Andre, Virus, and Captain Slow making up the top 10. Then Safalt P11, Sugar Bear P12, Top Gun 13, Harsh Cartoon 14, Chums 15, and Keycracker will start from the rear of the field. Of course, now we look down the empty pit lane because there's absolutely no action down that pit lane. All the action to the left-hand side of your screen. That's the drivers. Looks like they're doing nothing, but their brain is working overtime. They're thinking of strategies. What are they going to do? What tire they're going to start on? What do they expect from this race? Of course, you could go with the hard tire, looking to go deep into the race, and then just have multiple safety cars throughout that stint, which would then, well, destroy that strategy. So what do you expect from lap 1 or the opening laps of the race? Do you expect safety cars and stoppages in the race? Didn't see anyone use the soft tire at any time in today's race, so I don't think we'll probably see it tonight. There is Keycracker in the comment section. Welcome. Good to have you in the lobby as well as in the comment section. That is multitasking. Keycracker saying for P16. Well, I think when it comes to a race, particularly like this one, when it comes to Baku, if you can get that car to the end, there's always a chance of points. Because I think we might just have a few retirements. Remember, first race of the season, straight into a technical street circuit. It's got its straights. Seems easy. But it's got its twisty bits. If you don't get them right, you don't get a second chance. We will now get the dual green light, so the drivers will get another opportunity to get around the circuit, this time with a much heavier car. What you can do is bring up those tires already so you can see who's doing what. Looks like a pretty even split between the two. The top three drivers all going for the medium compound, then drivers in P4 and 5 going to slower Levy going on the hard, Skulk on the medium, then Pantry Star and Andre, again another couple of hard drivers, Virus Captain Slow on the medium. Different strategies in play, different ideas. But remember, all of these strategies could mean absolutely nothing after just one safety car, and this is Baku. Incredibly, the race this afternoon just had the one safety car, and that was for championship leader Oscar Piastri. Tell you what, I did not see that coming. I was saying earlier on in the broadcast that if you look up the first Azerbaijan Grand Prix, it'll tell you the first Grand Prix was in 2017. Here's a weird one. The circuit was on the calendar and they did race here in 2016. The only difference is it wasn't called the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. In its first introduction to F1, it was known as the European Grand Prix. That race no longer exists. European Grand Prix was formerly a round that was traditionally shared by different European venues. Donington to Jerez to the Nürburgring and Azerbaijan. Now we wait for the 5 red lights. We're going to see a Sauber, we're going to see a Red Bull heading into turn 1. Of course, there is an escape road down there into turn 1. There's also an escape road down turn 2. But by the time you get to turn 3, you have to get it right. Seems like everybody got through turn 1 pretty nicely. There's a very wide race circuit. You do have a lot of space, not exactly a full lobby, just the 16 cars. The track shouldn't be overcrowded. And it's not exactly Monaco, is it? Ooh, and we see our first incident. Hopefully, yes, both those cars are able to keep going. Minimal damage. Ooh, I just said minimal damage. That time round, much more damage. Virtual safety car. And if Weiser was here, he'd say, well, well, well. Virtual safety car on lap 1. Fortunately for the drivers, not a full safety car. Full safety car on lap 1 can just be so annoying. Race just gets going and then you find yourself having to do 3 laps at formation lap speed. All that build up to the race. You need to have your concentration broken. The virtual safety car just neutralizes the race. It's not going to pause things for 3 laps. Virtual safety car has come to an end. Big T leads the way from Spikes. It's going to be interesting to see how that pace translates. And now we've got Andre, the first retirement. Andre falls to the rear of the field. We didn't see what happened to that car. There's that car. There we go. That's a big retirement. All that remains of it is a tire in the wall. Andre out of round 1, season 13. Doesn't say it on your screens, but look at your track map. Are we under safety car? I don't see a safety car on the circuit. It says caution in sector 3. One going around slowly. Keep your eyes on the track map. You see the yellow dot. And that means we're under full safety car conditions. So early on in the season this time, Death Queen. Last time around, it was Skull that had a bad start to the season. This time around, Andre not having round 1 go the way he'd like. Interesting to know how some of the drivers feel about this circuit. Tell me, Death Queen, how does Andre feel about this circuit? Was it one of his preferred circuits? Was he confident going into the race? Or is, for me, Baku's always one of those races that if I finish, that's amazing. Of course, next week for round 2, we go to Bahrain. At least that's a circuit. Doesn't have too many walls. Death been saying that Andre does like the circuit. Of course, if it's a circuit you don't like at all, circuit you'd be surprised to finish, and the retirement won't really bother you. But if it's one of the circuits on the calendar that have stood out to you, there's a possible good result. Well, the DNF then hurts a little more. 2 cars in the pits. Sugar Bear, Virus, 3 cars in the pits. Levy also in the pits. There is your Aston Martin leading the way, driven by Lance Strulovich. I'm going to just call him Lance Strulovich because that is his real name. I don't care. Lance Strulovich. Sounds ridiculous. So not a very eventful race so far. Haven't got much done. We got going and then we got a virtual safety car very, very early on. I said it was fortunate that it was just a virtual safety car, because a full safety car this early on in the race would be annoying for the drivers. As that virtual safety car ended, we barely got through another sector. And the full safety car has been activated. Lap 3 of 26. And we're waiting to get this race going. Like I've said many times before, for the drivers at the rear of the field, for the drivers who aren't expecting a great result from Baku, multiple safety cars is a great scenario. Spices up the situation. If you're in the right place at the right time, you're going to get a fantastic finish. But if you're one of the quicker drivers, it's one of the worst scenarios. Every time you find your groove, safety car comes out, eliminates the gap you've built up. Makes you start all over again. And as you saw from that virtual safety car restart, every time we have a restart, we have the potential for a disaster. Big T getting awfully close to the safety car. It's actually one thing I don't think I've ever commentated on. I don't think I've ever seen it on this channel. I've seen it in a lobby I was driving in, but I've never commentated on it. I've never seen somebody drive into the safety car. Baku section. It's a unique part of the race circuit. Become really iconic fixture on the F1 calendar. Of course, Baku staying on the F1 calendar till 2030. That was confirmed this race weekend. But every time I see another long-term contract, I shed another tear for Kyalami. Safety car seems to be pulling off into the distance. Remember, it's going to leave this caution on the screen for quite some time, but this is indeed the restart. Safety car pulling off into the distance. When he enters the pit lane, then all responsibility goes on the shoulders of Big T. He takes the responsibilities of that safety car till the start-finish line. He decides when to restart. There can be no overtakes till the start-finish line, and it's up to everybody else to be as awake as possible. 10-second penalty, severe collision. Sugar Bear, Key Cracker. Key Cracker making contact with Sugar Bear under safety car. Because that has led to a penalty for Key Cracker. We've been having wheel-to-wheel action under the safety car. Baku madness. I believe in the F1 movie it was option C. Chaos. Big T leads the way from Spikes. It's lap 5. 0.4 of a second is the gap. You might think, wow, everybody's been able to keep up to Big T real well. Well, we've really just got going. Lap 5, we've had a virtual safety car. We've had a full safety car. And now the driver's finally getting an opportunity to drive around this circuit at racing speed. The way these cars are meant to be driven. So close to the barriers. Of course, you see it in Monaco, the track being so narrow. You've got to get so close to the barriers. Use all of the race circuit that is available, because there isn't much of it available. Then you come over here to Baku, where the track is so wide. And these guys they get just as close to the barriers anyway. Give a driver a little bit extra tarmac, he's going to use it. Fastest lap of the race, and I think that's the first lap at full racing speed. Big T leads the way from Spike. 0.6 of a second is the gap. As for Captain Slow, he's already broken DRS from the top two. Then Skulk, the second Williams, railing his teammate, but out of DRS. Then you've got Pantry Star and Skull, the two Salbers, 5 and 6. Hopefully they'll be able to come through the field together, working as a team, and not trip into each other. You have a caution in Sector 1. Caution in Sector 1. Hopefully that is all it is. That was that an Alpine? appears to be moving again. Gonna be a nerve-wracking race. Every time I see a yellow flag, I think, oh no. Remember, there is an issue with the game that when you do get that full safety car, it usually doesn't say safety car, it just says caution. That's why every time I get a yellow flag, I think, oh no. Big T leads the way. Spikes still holding on to DRS. DRS around this circuit, so powerful that even if Big T does have an advantage, even 7 to 9 tenths advantage each and every single lap, if Spikes is able to stay within DRS, when those DRS zones arrive, he opens up that rear wing, he gets towed by that faster Red Bull up the road from him. And it's just going to allow him to stay with the leader, even if he's not matching him in lap time. The only problem with that is if you're only keeping up because of DRS, then you better hold on to DRS, because once you fall out of it, it's going to be very difficult to get it back. Great camera shot there on the exit of the castle section. We get to see Captain Slow on the chicane there. Saw the car just dancing around on the exit. Remember, all of these cars gonna have very, very little downforce. Means they're at their quickest. They're also at their most nervous. DRS open for the McLaren of Spikes. I say just stays within the DRS. If he's able to stay within the DRS, even if Big T has a big lap or speed advantage, he's just going to tow that McLaren around. It's so important for Spikes to stay in that DRS. Once it's gone, if Big T's qualifying pace translates to race pace, I think everybody else is going to have to pray for a safety car. As I say, safety car, caution in sector 1, but luckily that's gone away. Big T still out front, Spike still P2, 6 tenths of a second. The two Williams, look at this, the two Williams running line astern, and they're followed by the two Selbers running line astern. And will you look at that? We've got a full yellow circuit. Caution in sector 1. You can see Lebby's been greyed out. Lebby becomes the second retirement of the evening. And we get our second safety car of the evening. Of course, now the drivers will have to start thinking, what is the plan? Do I come in? Do I utilize this safety car? Do I stay out, hold on to track position? There's so many drivers on the hard compound, and those hards obviously have not yet done their job. But the top 4, they're all on the medium. Top 2 have come into the pits. Big T and Spikes. What the Williams do. Captain Slow into the pits. Skulk into the pits as well. This is coming from the comments section, not from me. This is I have no idea what it means though. This is a dot 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 track. You can fill that in with your imagination. There's so many words you can put in there, and they'd all be appropriate. Pantry Star is now the new leader of the race. Does change things around now. Mixes up the order. Of course, Big T led every lap of the race up until this point. Of course, Max Verstappen, pole position, fastest lap, winner of the race, and led every lap of that race. That is a grand slam. I believe that's the 6th of his career. Of course, Carlos Sainz becoming only the second driver after Alain Prost to get podiums for 3 teams. McLaren, Ferrari, and of course Williams. So Alain Prost got podiums for those same 3 teams. Three championships in a McLaren. Got 1 in a Williams with the 4-time world champion. As for his year at Ferrari, let's just say in 2025 nothing's changed. Let's just say he didn't get on too well with his engineers. A driver that doesn't get spoken about enough, Alain Prost, the 4-time world champion, racing in the same era of Senna and Niki Lauda, managed to win 4 world championships with that sort of competition around him. His name really got overshadowed by Senna. Very popular figure in Formula One in the late 80s and early 90s. And Alain Prost was always known as a little bit of a crybaby. Think of maybe Max Verstappen and George Russell as teammates in an incredibly fast car. And imagine how that season would go. One of them's going to land up crying, and I think you know which one. Still under safety car conditions. Not going anywhere anytime fast. Seems like the field has packed up behind the safety car, so this will probably be the last lap under the safety car. Then we'll get going again, but for how long I cannot tell you. I do not have much faith in the streets of Baku. course, Azerbaijan is quite oddly placed when it comes to what continent is it on. Of course, before we had the Azerbaijan Grand Prix in 2017, I said we used this circuit for the European Grand Prix. Technically, a very, very small piece of Azerbaijan is in Europe. The rest of the country's in Asia. I think basically the capital is in Europe. The rest of it's in Asia. Much like Turkey, a country that spans 2 continents. So that's also a very popular race circuit. And a race circuit that's looking to make its way back to F1. I know a few people would love to have Turkey back on the calendar. But every time I hear one of these things, I think, no, more competition for Kyle Army. Lap 11 of 26, things have been dragging on. 2 safety cars around a incredibly long race circuit. Just because of all of these straights, under racing speed, you get an incredibly high average speed. Grand Prix can go by very quickly. You have safety cars and all of those straights driving down at a couple hundred k's an hour, not very quick. Well, this race feels very long. Pantry Star, now the new leader of the race after that safety car. Still shows a caution on your screens. But that is just the glitch that I told you about. There we go, it disappears. Pantry Star leads. But he'll be looking at that timesheet. And I hope he's not looking in his mirrors, because if he looks in his mirrors, he's going to see a Red Bull. And he's going to know exactly who that is. If he was looking at the qualifying times, he'll know exactly who that is. But fresh, hard tires. He doesn't want to waste any time. Doesn't want to get stuck behind the Sauber. I think he's made this overtake long before the corner. Yes, long before the corner. Big T back into the lead of the race. Didn't lead every lap of the race, but he did snatch it back pretty quickly. Like a lock-up from the Sauber that allows Spikes to come right on the back of the green kick Sauber. And he does get by. And before the safety car, the race was between Big T and Spikes. After the safety car, they've found their way back to the front. What I said in the beginning, I said that DRS was going to be so important. If we look at the qualifying times, Big T is definitely the quicker of the 2 drivers, but Spikes is able to hold on if he has that DRS. Needs to stay within a second. Gap will start going in the other direction. 10-second penalty for Top Gun. I believe that was for crossing the pit line. Did I read that correctly? That's not a penalty we see very often. Let me know in the chat if any of you saw that penalty. Did I read that correctly? Was it for crossing the pit line on the exit? 10-second penalty for the driver in P14. Making his difficult race that much harder. Big T, Spikes. Worried he was going to fall out of DRS, but he managed to close that gap. And look at that. This time he challenges the Red Bull. Challenges the Red Bull. The Red Bull went later on the brakes. Spikes maybe worried about a collision. Just dived back behind the Red Bull. Thought, I'll live to fight another day. Opens up DRS, but he's not close enough this time round. Just stays behind the Red Bull. You want to stay as close as you can. You want to charge up that battery. Wait for the next DRS zone. Obviously, I don't read out the energy levels, but both of those drivers on very similar energy levels. So managing them well. Sometimes you'll see one driver with almost a full battery and the driver behind with almost no battery, and that's usually a very bad sign. Using all the tools at your disposal, barely hanging on, and then when those tools start to fail, nothing much you can do. Big T, Spikes, the gap now the largest it's been in quite some time. 9/10 of a second, 8/10 of a second. So important to keep it within that second. Pantry Star in P3. He led this race not so long ago. Led it at the safety car restart. Now finds himself in P3. Got his teammate 2.6 seconds down the road from him. But Skull has made a more recent pit stop, so those two on the same compound, not on exactly the same strategy. Skull with the tyre advantage. Be interesting to know how many of these drivers are in contact, how many of these teammates sit in the same room, so they know what the other is doing. Pantry Star and Skull, and two very different strategies, and starting to get very close to each other on circuit. Will they race each other? Will they play some sort of team game? Frankly, it's round one, and team games should not exist in round one. Caution in Sector 2, but it's gone away. Lap 15 of 26. It's still the Red Bull from the McLaren, 0.6 of a second. Doing well to stay within that 1 second. Keeping himself in a chance of that race win. Of course, if you're that close on going into that last lap, make that overtake when it counts. Even if you haven't been able to make it all race, you make it when it counts. Might just still snatch victory, but not if you fall too far behind. My internet is misbehaving slightly, if you haven't noticed. So if you guys are having any problems with buffering, it does look okay on my side. But if you are having issues with buffering, then I just recommend rewinding the stream maybe by a lap or two. It'll make your viewing experience a lot more pleasant. Big T still leads at the front, 0.4 of a second from Spikes. Then you've got the two Selbers of Pantry Star and Skull. A little further back, we haven't spoken too much about Skull. And look at that queue. Look at that queue. Williams has a queue forming behind it. Virus, Sensor, Keycracker, Harsh Cartoon, all looking for that P5. They can all see it. And what do we have this time around? I'm always interested to see, are the McLarens having matching liveries? Virus down in P6, that's the chrome livery, I believe. And then Spikes also with the chrome livery. Been quite funny to see two McLaren liveries in some of the lobbies. Depends on what version of the game you got. Skull does get past Pantry Star. Wonder if that was a team agreement or if he got by. Of course, he does have the tyre advantage. Now he can set his sights on Spikes. That gap is 9.1 seconds. Take a master effort, a second a lap, in order to catch those top two. And those top two still very much in a race with each other. Honestly, when I saw those qualifying times, I thought Big T was going to have a bit or a pretty easy time of things, but Spikes has kept him honest. Spikes has stayed right on the back of that Red Bull throughout the race, lap after lap, matching one of the quickest drivers we've seen in this league. I don't think there should be any tyre concerns for any of those drivers in the top three. Just 8-lap old hards should go to the end very easily. Pantry Star in P4, he's got 16-lap old hards. They might be looking a little tired at the end of the race. Skulk P5, also relatively fresh hards, just the 8 laps. 14 laps for Virus. And then we've got Sensor in P7, and he's kind of out of sync. He's on the medium with 8 laps old, so I don't know what those tyres are going to feel like at the end of the race. If it's anything like the race we saw this afternoon, very, very low degradation. We saw the hard tyres matching the medium tyres for pace this afternoon in Baku. We have a similar scenario. Then maybe those mediums are just fine. Two Salvers still running line astern as they have for most of the race. It's pretty impressive. One stage they were about 3 seconds apart, but Skull closed that gap, made the overtake. Now he hasn't been able to shake off his teammate. What's the deal there? I'll let you go. If you don't run away, well, I'm coming for you at the end. So this would be a fantastic result for the Salvers. Both of them in the points, high up in the points, 3 and 4. That would be a fantastic start to the season, but still a lot of work to do to get those cars home in that position. Just had the two retirements. They happened relatively early on in the race. Things have settled down. But around the streets of Baku, you should never get too relaxed. Big T and Spike, 7/10 of a second. Fantastic drive by the McLaren. Such a difficult situation when you're behind a driver lap after lap after lap. The overtake, it's just so close. But it never comes close enough. Usually what happens is lap after lap, get a little bit more frustrated, and eventually a mistake comes. Spikes isn't doing that with just any driver. He's doing it with Big T. Sense of fault. We have focused A lot on the one Red Bull. I haven't spoken about the other Red Bull at all. Sensifault in P6. Will also be a nice start to the season for the Red Bull team. One car at the front of the field, the other one well inside the points. Also double points scoring potential position for McLaren. Not the start to the season Ferrari would have wanted, just the one Ferrari in the race. It's not in the points. And both Alpines. Well, both Alpines. Well, it's just like in life. Two Alpines outside the points in Baku. Big changes coming in that team in 2026. They will get Mercedes engines and hopefully a much, much better chassis. In fact, I've heard that that Alpine chassis at some of these circuits, it would be a damn good chassis. Problem is, that Renault engine is heavily underpowered. And if that is indeed their only issue, that should be resolved next season. And we could have a new team firmly in the midfield. Skull keeping it clean. There's already one retirement in his house earlier this evening. He needs to bring this home. As he didn't have the season 12 he wanted. This is a clean slate. Season 12 is in the past. Season 12 is in the NFR archive. It is no longer valid. It's just a piece of history. Season 13 is ahead. And Skull, well, he's having a good start to it. Finishing on the podium. Tell me, how does Skull feel about this circuit? Is it one of his favorites? Nice helicopter shot there of the second Red Bull. Now looking at Virus. These two, 5 laps to go, still together, still within DRS, but still Big T leads. It's just incredible that can't shake off Big T, but Big T can't get close enough to make the overtake. Scenario simply goes round and round and round. So frustrating for the driver behind, just constantly looking at the same rear wing for a majority of the race. As for the driver ahead, it depends who you are. If it was me, I'd already be in a wall. Big T seems to relish under pressure. Lap 21 of 26. Gulk in P4. Podium does not look within his reach unless there's a big mistake up the road. 10 seconds. Keeps his foot in it. Good points for P4 round 1. Few drivers not making it tonight. Just the 16 started. Levy and Andre, they're going to get no points. They DNF'd in round 1. Currently outside the points. Winter Schloer, one of the RBs. The only RB that remains in the race. Then the only Mercedes in the field, also outside the points. And both Alpines outside the points. Sugar Bear. What has gone on over there? It looks like Sugar Bear made up 2 positions. Very few cars made contact. Sugar Bear made up 2 positions in a very short period of time. There he is. He's all over the back of Pantry Star. Pantry Star was on aging tyres, so he did come into the pits right at the end, just a few laps to go. One of those drivers would have been holding on as long as they could not to pit, hoping for a safety car. If the safety car doesn't come out, well then you look pretty silly and you've got to go pit in the last 2 laps of the race. Two Selbers were matching each other for pace, but they weren't in sync in strategy. That's why one is in P3, the other is in P7. Make a pit stop. That means Skulk. P4. I was going to say sensor fault P5, but that is no longer the case. That is a McLaren. That is Virus. Gets past the Red Bull and he's absolutely flying. Red Bulls now, rather the McLarens now, 2 and 5. There is sensor fault. So one McLaren getting the move done on a Red Bull, but is that... I think that Red Bull may be ghosting. I think that Red Bull is ghosting. Confirmation, that means Sensor is not in control of that car. And how unfortunate, those two were racing so hard together. And to have it decided in that way, it's never nice. Interestingly enough, the McLaren tucked back in behind that Red Bull. Not made the overtake. Something funny going on there. Between 5 and 6. Now Virus does eventually get past that Red Bull. It's like he made the overtake and maybe the game told him to give the position back. Because he did initially make the overtake and then slowed down. Basically drove wheel to wheel with him. Wasn't enough. Tucked in behind the Ghost driver. And then went for an overtake. Sure, the game give the position back. Give the position back to a Ghost car. Can you believe it? These two, I don't know how many times I've said it, inseparable. Been together throughout the race. Said it was so important for Spikes to stay within DRS, and he's done exactly that. He has stayed within DRS for the duration of the race. They're on equal compound tires, equal age of tires, almost no space in between them, almost no laps to go. Spike's really, really close, but when is he going to make the move? When is he going to take the leap of faith? I think he's going to be just happy to finish in P2 and drive behind the Red Bull over the line. He wants this victory. He's running out of time to do it. Let's see how many laps it is. I think it's 26. So 24 of 26. Not long to go. Best place to overtake is obviously into turn 1. Does have that escape road if you get it wrong. Another good overtaking place is turn 3. But as for an escape road, you're probably going to crash. Turn 1, good place to make an overtake. Turn 3, good place to make an overtake. But don't trip. Skull still strong drive in P4. Hasn't been able to make up any ground on the podium. Up there now 11.2 seconds. So Skull comfortably making that P3 his own. Just needs to bring the car home in one piece, and there isn't much longer to go. Can have no more stoppages in the race because it's too late into the race. We're officially in what I call the safe zone. No more safety cars can happen. Don't have enough laps for a safety car. It's all going to come down to this. Big T versus Spikes. There's going to be a lunge at the end. There's going to be an absolute steal of a victory from someone who's led the race for an absolute majority of the race, only to have it stolen away from him on the final lap. That would take some bravery. Spikes is going to have to dig deep. And have to ask questions. What's he going to do here into turn 1? This is going to be his best opportunity. Stays behind the Red Bull. He's going to get a second go at DRS into turn 3. Pretty close, but is he close enough? Not only about being close enough, still want to make the overtake and come out of the corner on the other side. And just simply lunge and hope for the best, because that usually doesn't work out too well. Red Bull still leads. Spike's still P2. These two have been together throughout the race, and they've left the field in their dust. In a different league altogether. As for Skull in P3, it's been a lonely P3. I don't think he's seen anyone in quite some time. Not ahead of him and not in his mirrors. But he'll be counting down the corners, counting down the sectors. Just wanting to get to the end of this race. And if he finishes in P3, well, he'll have more points in round 1 than he had in the first 4 rounds of season 12. That's not even an F1 stat, that's an SKR stat. Big T still leads the way. Spikes, what can I say? Gave it everything. Applied the pressure. Not even a weave over the victory line because he couldn't afford it. Big T over the line. Spikes over the line in P2. 0.4 of a second the gap after 26 laps of racing. So impressive between those two. Spikes to be able to apply that amount of pressure lap after lap for the entirety of a race. Outrunning wide without visiting a barrier. Very impressive. And of course for the winner of the race, able to absorb that pressure lap after lap. Taking no note of your mirrors, taking no note of your proximity arrows, and just concentrating on what's up the road. And if you're in the lead, there's nothing up the road. Wash Cartoon over the line. He's going to get points in round 1 of season 13, as does Captain Slow. No points on the night for Sensor Fault. He finishes P11. Race was looking a lot better not so long ago, but I think he had that disconnect. Cracker P12. He started from the rear of the field, so he did make up a few positions, but not enough to get into the points. Top Gun 13. And I think we're still waiting for Chums. There he is. Chums will come over the line any moment now. And folks, that was round 1. There is your podium. Let's have a look at your results. Of course, driver of the day, that goes to Chums. Fastest lap goes to Spikes. Most overtakes goes to Virus. Cleanest driver goes to Pantry Star. And of course, your race winner, Big T. Going through those results, Big T, of course, with the victory, spikes in P2. He got the fastest lap. Then Skull finished P3. He's going to be happy with that for round one. Good start to the season. Skulk P4, Pantry Star P5. Then you got Winter Slower, Virus, Sugar Bear, Harsh Cartoon, and Captain Slow making up the points paying positions. No points on the night for Sensifault, Key Cracker, Top Gun, or Chums. And then we had retirements for Lebby. And very early on for Andre. And there we have it, folks. That's the end of round one. It's come and gone. I said it was taking a long time, but start of the race, very messy. Had a virtual safety car. We had a couple of safety cars, but second half of the race, pretty straightforward. Fantastic racing from the McLaren, from the Red Bull. A lot of pressure from both those drivers, and both able to hold out and stay within a second of each other for the entirety of the race. Of course, next week, SKR heads to Bahrain, a more familiar circuit to see at the beginning of a season. We do return to Baku on Tuesday night. That's when SAFRL makes its Season 13 return. They're going to be racing at this same circuit. Of course, a lot of the drivers do carry over into SAFRL, so this would have been a good practice session for Tuesday night. Of course, that's at 8 p.m. And then in the first week of October, we're adding a league to the channel. I think it's on the 3rd of October. That's a Thursday. We're going to have round one of season 2 of Red Line Racing. And of course, you're also going to see some of your favorite drivers from SKR and SAFRL driving in that league. So if you enjoy the content, we're adding one more race to the week. Hope you've all enjoyed tonight's stream. I'm going to quickly have a look on the Discord. Actually, I'm not even on my Discord. Hopefully I don't freeze up my computer doing this. There we go. There's no one in the cool down room. I'm going to close that. I want to thank everybody who joined the stream. Of course, we had some decent support. We get a lot more views after the live stream. That's usually the drivers going back and watching what has gone on. And I want to thank you all for joining. I want to thank you all that watched the race after the fact. And of course, we're going to be back on Tuesday night for this very same circuit. And then, of course, next week, 3 races in a week. Going to bring Skull asking for an interview. Let me just have a look in the... There we go. I am going into the Discord, and we will try bring Skull into the comms box. I'm just hoping I've got all my mics and everything set up. There we go. Skull, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, Fernando.
Okay, we have. Okay, let me try that. Skull, can you hear me?
Hello? Yeah, I can hear you. Hello?
There we go. Now we can hear Skull. Let me see. Is there anyone else here? No, just Skull. So, of course, first race of the season, much better than the first race of the season last season. Starting off with a podium. Was it? Were you looking for a podium in this race? Were you surprised? Is it a favorite?
I was most surprised there was only a podium, to be honest. Going into the race, I knew it was faster than Baku, so I had high expectations. And then someone screwed me over at the start. I'm not gonna name any names. But yeah, I think I had a good recovery drive. Get back to the podium. Didn't think I was gonna end on the podium after that. So yeah, it's an interesting race.
And then, of course, you are one of the drivers that cross over into SAFRL, so you're going to get a second opportunity to do this circuit. on Tuesday night? Do you think you can go position better, or even a couple of positions better? Can we expect a race win at Baku on Tuesday?
I hope so. I would like that.
Of course,
But,
here you race in the Salba. What team are you racing over on Tuesday night?
Alpine with Panda.
Okay, you're going to be in the Alpine.
So yeah.
So what else? Are you going to be joining? Are you going to be joining the third league on this channel? Red Line Racing. Are you going to be joining that?
I signed up there, so I'm gonna see how everything goes, because there might be something coming. Not gonna say anything on that day, but yeah, I'll see. So far it's a yes for Red Line.
So far it's a yes. So we should see Skull on the channel 3 times a week. Nobody else has joined the Discord, so Skull, thank you very much for joining the comms box.
Thanks, Fernando.
And I hope you enjoyed that, and I hope you go a position or 2 better on Tuesday night.
So yeah, thanks, man.
Cheers, cheers.
Cheers.
To everyone who's still with us, everyone who's still in the stream, that was Skull. The other 2 drivers not coming to the comment section. A reminder to all the drivers who may be listening to the stream in the background, you are welcome to join the cooldown room on the NFR Discord server after the race, even if you didn't finish on the podium. There's only one rule. Don't come into the comms box to swear at the other drivers. You leave that to the stewards room. But if you'd like to join the comms box after the race, have a chat about your race, give a bit of an explanation as to how you finished where you did, everybody is welcome to the cool down room after the race. We can have a short chat and a short reflection on that race. So of course, to everyone, one more time, thank you very much. I'll leave you with a little bit of music before I go. And until Tuesday night at 8 p.m. Cheers.
Now Fernando calls the play on NFR race day. Commentary sharp and loud, hyping up the roaring crowd. Feel the power at NFR, burning tracks, driving far, where the races never end. NFR, only friend. Death Queen, the top support scene in the crowd where speed is keen. NFR, the place to be. Join the race, watch and see.
Sweat.
You've got a fire burning deep inside, a spark in the dark where your dreams collide. They'll tell you to stop, say the road's too long, but your heart keeps beating to a rebel song. Take a step, don't look below. Every scar's a story, only you will know. The weight of the world can't break your stride. You're carving your name where the stars reside. When the shadows call, when the nights grow cold, you'll find the strength in the tales untold. You can rise to the sky, touch the edge of the flame, write your heart in the light, let the world know your name. No chains can hold you, no storms too wide. You're a legend in the making when you rise to the sky. The ground may shake, but your roots run deep. Every fall you take is a promise you keep. The doubters will fade, their voices will break, 'cause your soul's on fire and it's yours to take. Run through the rain, chase the endless fight. Every dream you claim lights a spark in the night. The horizon's calling, it's yours to claim. A warrior's heart with a fearless flame. When the shadows call, when the nights grow cold, are you crying? You'll find the strength in the tales untold. You can rise to the sky, touch the edge of the flame, write your heart in the light, let the world know your name. No chains can hold you, no storms too wide. You're a legend in the making when you rise to the sky. Stand tall when the thunder roars, break the locks, kick down the doors. Every step is a battle won, your story's just begun. Oh, let it soar, forevermore, forevermore. You can rise to the sky, touch the edge of the flame, write your heart in the light, let the world know your name. No chains can hold you, no storms too wide. You're a legend in the making when you rise to the sky. So keep on climbing, don't ever slow. The stars are waiting where the brave ones go. You'll rise to the sky. Yeah, you'll rise to the sky. A legend in the making till the end of time.